why should they not be given that job unless they want to join a union? I don't understand it. If I want to do a job and they're willing to pay me $25 to do it,
workers join a union?
But I have to give $10 of it away.
Do you think anybody joins
why
a
not do
union
it for $20?
or forms a union because they like the idea of being a union, or they want to take? I'm going to take unfair advantage of my employer. You know, do you think any of that happens? No.
My ex-husband.
Not a single union would exist in this country ever if the employers were honest and fair.
No.
Not a single union would ever have come into existence.
I'll tell you what, I work for the Kenosha News.
Please let me give a good story.
And they, non-union, they treat people fair. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because of the unions.
No union.
Oh, a lot of places they don't want the union to form, and because of the possibility of
Marriott's.
All right.
When Willard Marriott owned Six Flags, I worked on there, and they treated the workers like gold.
I understand that.
When he sold the place
people
off,
talk about,
it
you can
went
talk
bad.
about Abbott's, you can talk about Johnson West, and the whole reason that they treat their employees well, they don't want a union.
Union people
some people have morals too.
Certain union people, though, have a union mentality. My ex-husband was a sheet metal, well, maybe still is, I don't know, I haven't been in touch with him in years, but whatever, was a sheet metal worker and belonged to the union. And if the weather was bad, they would be called off the job, because if they were doing sheet metal outside or something, they'd be called off. And so he'd come home and I'd say, great, you're home. Can you do this or that, to help around the house? And his answer would be, no, I'm a union worker. It's raining today. I don't have to work. And he would play video games.
Pulling
that's
number
excessive.
that's not
he
a union
said that
attitude.
all the time,
That's
and
him.
his comment was, I'm a union worker. I don't have to.
That's not a union mentality.
But that's a union mentality.
No, that is not a union
He wasn't
mentality.
getting paid for it. He wasn't
that's
doing
your
it.
ex-husband.
That's your ex-husband's mentality, not a union mentality.
And keyword ex.
No, you can say that. You can. It's a cute story about your ex-husband.
I told you I had a cute story.
But it is not a union mentality. You
said no union workers are like, and then I said
nobody joins.
Okay, but let's go back
but you
to
did say no union
the
workers,
question though. Is that, do people really think that, because, we never really heard Scott Walker during the campaign talk that much about really wanting to turn Wisconsin into a right-to-work state, and a lot of really anti-union talk.
There was,
okay,
since he got elected, the rhetoric.
And you know what? Scott Walker got a lot of votes from union members.
Yeah.
Even though
Scott never discussed it.
Even though most unions, even though most unions endorsed Tom Barrett, but a lot of union members certainly voted for,
because they're for smaller
and they have to
business,
when you look at the numbers.
A lot of people voted for Scott Walker because they thought the high-speed train between Madison and Milwaukee was a done deal. We were told it was irrevocable.
No, I don't think so.
So they figured, we'll get him in there. It doesn't matter. A lot of people.
No, they didn't vote.
Absolutely.
I didn't talk to anybody and
I
voted
think a
for
lot
him
of people who
because of
voted for him because they wanted to stop the thing.
There were some, I'm sure, but a lot of people voted for him in spite of that because they thought it was a done deal.
By the way, during my race, when I was asked very specifically, am I in favor of the high-speed rail, or am I in favor of KRM? I answered no, I'm not.
Right.
And I'm a Democrat.
Right, but you're more fiscally responsible Democrat.
Well, let me ask you a question. Somebody says to you, I'm going to give you this brand new car, and you're going to say, we're going to give you the car, we're going to even pay for the insurance for you, and you're going to say, oh, damn it, I'm not taking this car. I'm going to have to pay for the gas? What the heck do you think I am? That's a lot of money. Why should I have to pay for the gas? Let's get rid of the car. I don't want it.
The money was printed. It's borrowed money. And it's still our tax dollars.
And you're still going to pay exactly the same tax dollars.
My question would be, is it your car to give me?
The federal government was going to pay for the...
No, my question would have been, is it your car to give me?
It's going to go to you or somebody else, dear.
That's fine, but if it's not your car to give me, I don't want it. No, if it's not yours to give me,
it's not theirs to give.
It's not theirs to give.
And there are a lot of people not to hand out.
I understand. There's a lot of people out there who will just take whatever they can take.
And it's wrong.
And it's wrong.
If it's going to come out, I'd rather that Wisconsin get its share then we're going to pay for our share. We're going to pay for it one way or the other. We're going to pay for it if it goes to Texas. We're going to pay for it if it goes to New York.
Not as much.
Yes, we are. We're going to pay
No, because we're
federally.
not going to have to pay the
Federally,
continued
we're going to
upkeep
pay
years
for
and
it.
years down the
We're not
road.
We
gonna
won't
pay
be
for it.
paying for pensions. We won't be paying for wages
Okay.
and upkeep.
That we've had this discussion before. But
it's
speaking
done.
of GOP and all that, you guys are now shopping for a new leader,
Well,
and it's going to be our own little.
Well, it
You-
happens
At
all
the
the
national
time.
level.
on the national
Well,
level.
now wait now. Steele just announced he's going to run for re-election, and there's 5 or 6 other people in the race.
And you know what? And very formidable people, including Reince Priebus, but the head of the Republican committee party in the state of New York, who's supported by Dick Cheney. So there's some top people, including Michael Steele. So
It's going to be
what's going to
interesting.
happen?
I don't know.
I don't
What do you
know.
think's going to happen?
I have to.
I'm asking you because you're
Yeah,
both Republicans.
I'm going to have to read up on all of them and see how all of them
We
stand
can't
on
vote
different
anyhow.
issues. Oh,
We
as
don't
board
have a-
members, we don't.
We
No,
don't
there
have
are
a
only
voice.
100. There are only
Yeah,
168
but
people voting.
as far as
on
who I
January
would
14th.
support, or I won't cast a
Who
support.
would you like
until-
to see win?
I'd like to see Reince win. We'll get all the money we need for the presidential. Man, we'll get rid of
See,
Herb Cole and get a new.
Okay,
make
but
the
see-
state go
but see-
red.
But see, okay, but
Well,
see,
you
now,
say Russ Feingold's
this is
going to
where
run
I'm
for that
further
seat.
right.
No, he's not.
This is where I'm further right.
He's done.
My being further right is saying, I don't care what state you're for, whoever's the head of the RNC better not pick favorites as to whose state gets a little bit extra. I think
always
should
does
be-
happen,
I
though.
understand that's human nature, but
And the tactics are a
I
little
think that
different,
people
but-
should be honest and
They're
spread it
admitting
equally.
favoritism. But go ahead.
Well, you know what? I like
No,
Steele.
it happens all over the place and
I'm
everything.
I'm teasing.
But I like Steele. I liked him when I first saw him, when he first got the job. I like him. I don't know the other people you mentioned. I don't know. I'd have to look at them and see.
I don't know much about him either. So
Reince Priebus, I know what he's done for Wisconsin. I have to read up on what he thinks he can do nationally and then decide, do I think that he can do it?
well, he
It
played a
has to be
big part
Reince
in the
Priebus for
national
one
role
reason. He has
because he
been
was
a
helping
panelist
Steele.
on this show
there you
repeatedly.
go.
So it's got to be Reince Priebus. He has been a Politalks
Well, I
And he
know.
went to school at Tremper.
There you go.
I know Reince will get
And
things
he is,
done.
yes, he is a Kenosha.
He knows
boy.
how to get things done. When we had trouble here, I'd send him a little text. No matter where he was, I'd have what I needed within a couple of days.
No?
Yeah.
Just like that, he got it
Anyway,
done.
although
So-
Steele is like, after the Republicans have done considerably well, in the last election, they swung the House, they picked up a lot of seats in the state of Wisconsin, but we're talking about national.
On the
GOP.
national level, right.
You can't really go after really somebody that has caused you
No.
success, can you?
That's
No.
why I do like him.
That's
That's why I
why-
said, personally, I like Mr. Steele.
That's why I'm surprised
But
Reince stepped down as the legal representative, and he's decided to run.
Well, I
Somebody-
thought, though, that Reince said initially that if Michael Steele decided to run, that he wouldn't. Now that Steele has said, as very, very recently, and I
Today
say that
he
because
announced.
this show airs different times.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that he announced it yesterday, but I don't want to say yesterday.
Well, but see, he
during the show-
resigned.
during the show that we are now broadcasting time and date.
Okay.
But he
okay.
did.
But Reince did say that if Steele decided to run, he wouldn't. But I think he obviously didn't know that at the time. But I guess we'll see if Reince will stay in the race.
Well, he
Yeah,
should know.
speculation
Well,
was that
he's-
Mr. Steele wasn't going
right,
to.
right,
Yeah.
right,
He
And
pretty
so-
much stepped
so-
down as the legal representative
Sure.
for the national
right.
before Steele announced, and he talked to Steele a lot, Michael Steele. So
And he probably still does. And you know what? Regardless, Reince and anyone else has the right
sure.
to run, and if they want to, they should be able to.
Does running against somebody necessarily create animosity between the two of them? It shouldn't necessarily do
When
so.
you got that small amount of
Sometimes you
delegates,
can. Sometimes you can, but
well, he formed his own 527. Reince did, and when you have that small amount of delegates that get the vote, you're going to cause some rifts.
Have you seen the
somewhere.
video he put out?
No.
Reince put a video out. He has Paul Ryan on it, Ron Johnson. It's actually very well done. And Scott Walker. It was put together this past week.
I didn't
you
see
are.
the video yet.
well, I'm not
check
going
out
to ask,
Facebook.
and I'm not going to tell whether Reince will
I-
be. Did I say that?
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
Is that a segue into
It's a
another
bad
topic?
segue. It's a crude one, but you know, we got to do what we got to do.
Okay.
We have been putting this off for a while because this particular issue has been in a flux for quite some time.
And it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas. Hey, so this is a good Christmas present for certain people who really like to talk about social issues.
Well, the military.
But is that a segue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it is. You like to talk about socials. I'm not.
I do like to talk
I know.
about social
It
issues.
really
but-
shouldn't be a political issue, and the military should make the decision of when they want to implement it and how they want to do it.
And you know what they have? They have in that the members of the Joint Chiefs, the Secretary of the Defense,
Gates?
Mr. Gates, and the study, and you know there've been study after
Yeah.
study after study, and you know John McCain a few years ago, you know I can't keep track of John McCain's position.
spins like a top, doesn't he?
By the way, I know John and Cindy
He's 81
well.
years
I used
old.
to live in Arizona. No,
Goes
no,
back and
no.
forth.
Well, but you know
Line
what?
drifts.
He said,
no,
"I want to hear what the
situations change.
military has to say," and you know what? There have been gays in the military forever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, if they're serving, if they're willing to die for our country, they should be willing to serve. And the military code of justice talks about honesty and always being open and honest. You know, as a soldier, I served in the military.
And they tell you to
and,
cheat
and
and
yeah,
lie.
you know, so you know what? I think for most it doesn't make any difference, and for some it does. Is it going to have a long-term effect? Who knows? But you know what? This is 2010, and I think the military needs to come into the 21st century.
Look
Mike?
at the empirical evidence, shall we?
All right, you.
There are many countries that have gays openly serve. For example, the Israeli army has gays openly serve. Are they a bunch of milquetoast wimpy soldiers?
That's not the issue, though.
No.
I was just going to
no,
say,
it
who
never
said that
was.
just because you're gay,
No,
you're a
my
milquetoast,
point.
wimpy,
Well, that's
whatever
the
never
left
was
one
an
was.
issue.
Okay, all right.
The issue is, you know, is their military effectiveness, considering their size, been affected? The British have gays openly serve. A lot of countries have gays openly serve, and it has not really demonstrably affected their military preparedness.
No, because they follow their military laws, and there's consequences for certain things.
Yeah.
And they're soldiers, and they act like soldiers, plain and simple.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. You wanted to make a comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, two comments. The studies that were done, the one that you mentioned with the Joint Chiefs and everything and talking, that's the political arm of the military, and the political arm of the military does deal with things differently than those in the open field. And as for McCain's flip-flop on this, and I'll say it's a flip-flop, I'll call it what it is, but there's circumstances that can lead to a change in the way somebody views this, because 10 years ago we weren't in a war, and so when you're not in a war and you're just thinking, well, yeah, gays in the openly gay in the military, fine, no problem, you know, I don't see an issue. Now all of a sudden you're in a combat issue, you're in small quarters and everything, it can change things. And the only reason I say that is because when somebody is openly gay, they might behave a little bit differently than they would if they weren't openly expressing it. I had an experience when I was in college, freaked the bejeepers out of me in the dorms, and I have been forever scarred by that one moment in life. And because of that, I don't think that a person's sexuality should be a question that anyone asks. I don't think a person's sexuality should be a question that people discuss, because what somebody does and who they do it with